So this is the 1987 Mk1 Cabriolet that we're going to be doing some suspension components on today. This car belongs to my girlfriend. She picked it up for £1,500. It was pink and rusty. I welded it up, had it painted for Christmas one year, and it's basically just sat waiting for the suspension components to go on it. It's a really nice little car, really good service history. Sat for about 10 years prior to her picking it up, and we've kind of been going through it, and yeah, just put a Weber carb on it. That helps massively, and that battery is not staying in it. That's about it really. Let's start taking it apart. We've got all new suspension components. We've got some 35mm springs there, new mill shocks, lower control arms with the bushes and ball joints, and then we picked up this set of BBS RZs for it as well. There's a couple little things like it needs a battery and we need to fix the horn on it, but yeah, let's get it on and see how it comes out. Alright, so there we have it, rear wheels off. You can see why this thing needed new springs and shocks. I forgot I did it, but I did rebuild the drums on it. They've got a bit flash rusty now, so we might just give that a quick top over. But yeah, looks nice, bit of overspray everywhere, but at some point we're going to take this axle out, powder coat it anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. There's a couple missing screws in this fuel vent line panel, so we'll chuck some in that. And yeah, this thing was really clean. I literally just from driving it to paint and back in winter, it's got that dirty. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a rubber bush on the bottom of that shock mount, and the spring back on that ratchet makes me think that the bolt has rush jacked into the sleeve, so we'll give it a few taps, and if not, I think we're gonna have to cut the head off it. Hopefully we get lucky and it doesn't spin if it reaches. Alright, that's good. Top mount bush looks okay, and that's it. So we will pull it out from the side. Alright, let's go. I know that this will be easier with the other side off the ground as well. There we go. Yeah, pretty crusty. Start working on some fresh ones, put them together. Annoyingly, we're really tight on space in here at the moment. I've got the chop in here, there's XL parts on the workbench. The Cabriolet is parked way over towards us from the wall, so that we can work on all four sides. There's the new wheels, there's bikes. So just for a second, we're gonna have to make do with the space we have. I will clear it out soon. I just need time. we're gonna have to salvage these top mounts. They're not actually too bad, the paint's just flaking off them, so we will wire wheel them, clean them up, give them a coat of paint. Yeah, that's probably it. Hopefully this all comes apart pretty easily. Should use spring compressors here, but I mean these things are so weak that I'm not really too worried about it. Yeah, I mean, don't be me, but also common sense. The spring is rusted to the shock. I've never seen that before. It's alright, all we need is the bump stop anyway. Maybe it will come up. Oh man. There we go. We will go ahead and clean this lot up as well. We are going to reuse some old components, but just for a reference, new spring and shock, old spring and shock. Doesn't feel like there's any fluid in that at all. That is so light. So here's that top mount that I was saying about. It's not great, but it is just paint coming off really. It's not coming apart. It looks a lot worse than it is, I think. We'll clean it up, take it all off and see what it comes out like. Hopefully it's usable, but there is a lot of it ending up on the floor. I mean, it's looking better already. I think once we got all the crusty paint off, a wire wheel and some primer on it, it will look absolutely fine. And there is plenty of steel left there, so it's safe. It's a different day. Just ran out of time, had to go and do some things. So all we've missed out on is that top mount got rust converted and painted. I'm just going to chuck the new rear struts together, and we'll put them in the car. Nice, that looks way better than the part that we pulled out. Everything looks like it's sat nicely. Pumped. we're not done yet. We've still got 3 sides to go. For some stupid reason, I'm doing one side at a time instead of just doing all 3 at once. I think it's because I'm excited to see what the wheels look like on the car. So I'm going to chuck a wheel on this side, lower it down. I know that it's not going to be at ride height or anything like that, but I just want to see how they fit. We've only got one done, literally one wheel, one strut, but what a massive improvement already over those grimy 13-inch stock steelies and big old arch gap. This thing's gonna look sweet when it's done. It's kind of hard to get a good angle with how much stuff is going on in the garage right now, but well, yeah, that looks sweet. I am just going to bust the other side out. It's going to be much the same as this side. That top mount's going to need cleaning up and repainting. I'm sure it's going to come apart with a couple of difficulties as well. I'm probably not going to film it just because it's much the same. The room is terrible, but we'll pick back up for the fronts. I mean, there's an idea of what it looks like with those old steelies on. And that's what we're like with those E30 LZs on it. Cool. I will pick back up when we start on the fronts. So another day again. Back end of this car is wrapped up. Wheels, chocks, really nice. Kind of just working on this when we get time in the days, so it's just more hours here and there than finishing one whole job. But yeah, back end's done. Still got our box of parts there for the front end. So we'll start on that, but I think before we do that, we will chuck the ball joints on the low control arms and get them so they are just ready to drop in. Yeah, so there's some bits to go on there yet. So the new arms for this car are Febby. Pretty nice. I think they're symmetrical both sides, so that's good. We just need to put the bushes in, just applied. So, go on there. Sweet. That should make those go in nice and easy. Against the back side there, so we will find a socket. Nice. That worked out alright. We're off. No washers, which is only lock washers, but Febby must know what they're doing. Same again for the other side. Sweet, that's good. Alright, so here's what we're looking like. Turns out the red overspray, that is just dust. So we'll clean that up. Like I said, we're probably going to end up painting these struts. Might as well make it fit nicer in here. I did go ahead and put Hell braided brake lines on this car. I work for Hell, so it's a no-brainer not to. Obviously these standard rubber lines were absolutely cooked. That mount looks bent though, so we'll sort that out. That never used to be like that. No idea what happened there. But yeah, you can see why we're changing these control arms. They are crusty, and I don't know if you can see that, but there is literally bits missing. So yeah, let's start taking it apart. I already know that these bolts are going to be a pain. They look crusty, so we'll go ahead and shoot them with some WD-40 before we even start. Here we go. Ah, perfect. Oh, it's back. Right, that's a good start. I think nice. I am sorry, the memory card filled up without me realising right as we were getting that strut out. But long story short, strut is out, all looks okay in there. Here it is, crusty, not really any good, but we'll clean all that up. The spring was actually snapped on the driver's side. Everything else looks okay. That bearing still spins. This is going to be much the same as the rear, where we're going to wire it down, inspect it. If it's good, we'll rust convert it and paint it, and then put it together with the new stuff. I mean, here you can see, even with that snap spring, how much shorter these fronts are. So hopefully it gives us that drop to match the rear end. Yeah, so I'm going to get to doing that. Of course, that's really tight as well. Okay, so we're going to flip it up, soak it with some W40. Alright, so as you may have seen, that is tight. I've just sprayed it down with a acetone ATF mix, because that works so well at penetrating. Just going to sit it in the vise, let it soak for a while. I'm going to tidy up the tools, bring the bikes back in, and then head out on my BMX for a couple hours, walk dogs, and pick this up maybe later tonight, maybe tomorrow morning. We'll see how it goes. Cheers. Alright, we're back. That strut was soaking in that ATF mix for a while. I've just clamped it up in the vise, so we will try and break it loose. I'm just going to use some pipe grips on it, because I mean, that C-spanner is not going to touch it. So we'll see how we go. All right, straight on. All right, not bad. How does this come out? Yeah, nice. It's hard to tell whether that is covered in shock oil or whether that's the ATF mix. I mean, there's quite a lot of it. No, that's shock oil. So these were well overdue a replacement anyway. although they haven't been done before, which is kind of interesting. Ah, yeah, there you go. Nice. So the next job's going to be cleaning out and cleaning up these shock bodies along with the top mounts and whatnot. We're going to rust convert them, give them a paint as well, make sure everything goes back together nice, the same as the rear. So let's get to doing that. A lot of grinding and wire wheeling, and we're left with this. So let's get some rust converter on it, paint it black, hit the track. Alright, so while those strut bodies are drying, I'm going to try and get this lower arm off. If it's anything like the strut, I guess it's going to be a bit of a fight, but they got to go to get the new ones on. So let's start working on that. Alright, so the lower arm's out. That did prove to be quite a battle. I didn't really film any of it. I mean, you can kind of see by the amount of rust on the floor and the amount of tools we ended up using. But it's out, and it's good that it's out because, like I said before, it is not in a good way, and we've got those fresh ones to go in and replace it. Here's a good look while we're changing it. Obviously, there's bits missing of that lower arm. There is the nice fresh one. We've got no bushes for it as well. The only thing is I'm going to have to cut the bolts off of that U-bolt and clean that up because they just weren't playing ball, they weren't coming out. And these anti-roll bar bushes are absolutely cooked, but I think I have some of them in stock from one of my cars. So we will check that out next. So there's a better look at that anti-roll bar strap. Those bolts are just cooked. I think what we're going to have to do is chop them off really crudely from the bottom, and then these might be spot welded on, I'm not totally sure. And then we'll skim them off and we'll just replace them with nuts and bolts. This is the OEM bush. It's kind of got like a ridge inside of it that locates it on the anti-roll bar. I can't get one of these until Tuesday, so to see if it works and to get it for an MOT, I've got some Mk1 Golf poly bushes for like the inner anti-roll bar mounts, and you know, they don't have the locator in the middle, but they're pretty close size. I think they might squish down. We'll probably replace them down the line, but we'll try them. If they don't work, they don't work. If they do work, great, and we'll see what happens. I know it's not the ideal thing to do, but it's what we're going to do. It's not even desperate times, it's just laziness, to tell you the truth. It's a hot rod now, it's got body bushes. Cool, so we'll clean that up and at least we can nut and bolt that now. It might be a bit tight clearance wise, but worst case we just use some Allen bolts. I do actually think that we might get away with these poly bushes, at least temporarily. They seem to fit pretty similarly. The anti-roll was going to sit a touch lower, but by the time it's all done up, it's all going to kind of squish down. I already know I'm going to get someone commenting saying about throwing sparks with the Cabriolet. That's the reality of building cars in a single garage in the UK. It's a nice car. I mean, I did just have it painted, but it's not too nice. You know, it's going to get used, it's going to get abused. I don't aim sparks at it, but you know, it is what it is. Our strut body is nice and dry now, which is sweet. That thing come out looking really good considering how bad it was. I've chucked some never sees on the threads. Top mounts are all good, spring hat, and then I've just cleaned up that anti-roll bar bracket. Obviously we've got our bag of fresh hardware there that come with our springs and shocks. And obviously the new low control, I've already gone ahead and put that new bush on the back there. So we chuck the strut together, chuck the control arm in, and then this thing can go back together until we do the other side, which is going to take ages as well. But yeah. Way better than what we took out. Obviously meal as well. I actually tighten these ones up with a C-spanner so that the next person, which is probably us, doesn't end up in the same situation. That's tight. I think that's just got it. Bigger. Alright, nice, so that strut's built back up. New shock, obviously lowered spring. Everything we painted and cleaned up. We're going to put it back in the car with that new lower arm. And then we've got one more corner to go. It feels like this has taken a long time, but I guess it's because everything has had to be wire-wheeled, stripped, rust converted, primered, painted. go back together. This is probably the longest suspension rebuild I've done, because you're not just replacing parts, you're having to reuse things as well, i.e. the strut bodies. We're going to tighten that fully when it is at a more road level kind of height, just so it doesn't twist that bush. Obviously we've got the back ones to go on, we've got fresh nuts for that, and then we've got that anti-roll bar mount which we're going to try and test out the poly bushes with. The mount that was supplied in that kit is for cars without an anti-roll bar. Obviously we have one, I guess the early ones didn't have one, so we're just going to go ahead and reuse the old one. I've inspected it, it's perfectly serviceable. I don't think that we're going to have any issues with it. So the dude somewhere absolutely losing his mind that we're doing that. It is temporary, but at the same time, my guess is going to be they'll be absolutely fine. We're just going to try and find some hardware that we have in stock for both sides. And yeah, make it black. Black is best. Stainless hardware, way overkill bolts, which now I look at them closely don't actually match, so we change that. One thing that we will do while we're here is put a bolt in that, because having a disc that rattles about is so annoying. And that's all it takes. Perfect. Lower arm is all in and tight. Now I'm going to chuck that refresh strut in. I've cleaned up the bolts already, so let's see how this goes. Hopefully easier than taking it out. great so far. Camber bolt is the top bolt. I did end up replacing that bottom bolt because of how worn the hex was on the original. All right, that's pretty good. Not going to tighten the camber one down fully yet. You might want to adjust that in a bit. But yeah, sweet. New low control arm, cleaned up that anti-roll bar. Turns out that was actually just covered in wax oil. So that come up looking as good as the brand new control arm, funnily enough. And yeah, brand new spring, obviously the shock inside of it, that strut we painted up. Just need to tighten up these bolts on top. Shut the wheel on, and then that's this side finally wrapped up, and only one more to go. Nice, I mean that's the third one done. Does look like it's running a touch too much positive camber, but it might change when that thing rolls back and forwards. I mean, looks great though. That is the exact look that we wanted out of this car. Obviously it's going to settle a little bit. Yeah, pumped. One more side to go. So passenger side is all wrapped up, as you can see in there. New control arm, that refreshed strut. Chuck the wheel on, lower it down, see where it sits. Alright, so the Cabriolet's done, all the suspension's on, wheels are on. It looks sweet. Basically ready for an MOT. Definitely need to take it for a wheel alignment. I can see that both wheels are towing in at the moment. That one's got way too much camber, so I'll adjust some of that out before we go. Just going to give it like a once over nut and bolt check, and I need to get the horn working pre-MOT. But yeah, this is it, roof down. Looks way better. Obviously the suspension's going to have to set a little bit yet, but much needed refresh. You saw how cooked half of those bolts, bushes, struts, arms, everything was. Yeah, super happy with it. Hannah's pumped, and yeah, time for a big tidy up really. There is rust all over the floor. I'll get it out, sweep everything up, but yeah, probably gonna end this video out here. MOT it next week and go from there. I'm still unsure about making these YouTube videos. I'm not sure if it's something that I do enjoy, because it's pretty annoying having batteries run out, cards format and things like that. But you know, if you do want to see more, let me know. I guess subscribe. I'm not sure when the next video will be. And you know, if there's anything you think I should do differently if I do make another video, just let me know what it is and we'll go from there. But yeah, pumped on this. Yeah, it's a cool car, man. I'm looking forward to balling around in it.